All right, guys, we are here, Origins 2018 in the CMON booth, and I am with a man who is just making waves in the board games industries. Eric Lang, how are you doing today?
I'm just surfing, making waves.
So I love it that ever since you took your position at CMON, has anything really changed for you in terms of like making games?
Yeah, everything. I mean, so my job is about 50% management, 50% creative. But the management part is managing creative projects, right? So I oversee the entire catalog, right? I oversee every game that we do, but I don't design every game that we do, right? In some games, I'm just the director. Like I give the team direction, I give us a vision for it, and I'm just a pain in the butt and make sure that everything's like perfect to my OCD, whatever that is, right? Some games I design, some games I co-design. So that is, having to switch between the two is refreshing and cool. I like that a lot. I used to do that way back in the day when I was consulting for digital companies, and it's nice to kind of be that again, except with a team that I stay with.
So I love this. So with CMON right now, I know they have tons of board games that are out right now. What is one right now that is like kind of your favorite, or you're like, I'm glad to see it finally out and people playing with?
Well, right now, so it's interesting. I'm going to say Rising Sun, but it's not like, I stopped working on the game almost a year ago, right? The delay between when the files go to the printer and when the game comes out is that long. So it's new to the public, but to me, it's been in the rear view mirror long enough that I actually have to go back and look at cards every once in a while to remember what they do. So I'm just really happy that I get to play it again for fun. So I'm really excited about that. We're working on Death May Die, which is our upcoming Kickstarter game with Rob Davio for Cthulhu. It's a Cthulhu action-packed game where you get to shoot Cthulhu in the face. That's the new one that's coming up, and I'm really excited about that one.
So this is something that comes up in conversation with our group all the time.
Sure.
That you've been known to tell people that you were working on 4 or 5 games at a time. You know, sometimes up to almost a dozen, right? How in the world do you manage to kind of keep all of those in order when you're designing all of them?
I stopped sleeping. Sleep is like, it's overrated, and it's just too much downtime, right? Like I want to have my turns go faster, but so I don't like right now of designs. I'm only juggling like 2 or 3, maybe tops, but so I love. I really enjoy spreading my attention among multiple projects. The reason being is that I do consider downtime during a project development to be essential. So like when I say I work on a game like, say, Rising Sun, right? I developed that game over 2 years. It wasn't consistently 2 years. I do a lot of design for a couple months and I stop. I let it rest for a few months. Then I come back with fresh eyes, attack it again, put it away. So that's, I can't do nothing in that period of time, so I'll be working on other games in that like that. So I do a lot of leapfrogging, and I never take notes. So I'm only that it ensures that I'm only working on the games that I can understand and have every detail stuck in my head. And anything I forget, well, it probably wasn't worth remembering.
And can I tell you that Godfather game, like, everybody in our group loves it, and like that's all I can think about recently because we managed to get it to the table. So we love it. Like, how long does it kind of take for you to develop a game like that?
Godfather was also about a year and a half. And the same process, right? Not like I designed the core of the game because I love the movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, right? So when I found out with the license, I was actually too busy to work on another game. I'm like, I can't work on any other games right now. But then like, well, we have the Godfather license. I'm like, oh no, of course I got to work on that. I dropped everything, and I designed the first. I remember I designed the first iteration in like 48 hours, but then many months of refinement. Stop, redesign. So that about a year and a half.
Are there any kind of like passion projects or IPs that you kind of wish you could get your hands on right now?
Yes, I'm working on them right now, so I can't.
Okay, all right. That's totally cool. And like, how have you seen the board game industry change from when you first started? Because even like the 2-3 years we've looked at it, it's kind of like just rapidly changed. What's kind of like a big theme that you've kind of seen switch?
Well, right now, I mean, it's proliferation, right? There are so many titles out right now that I don't know if I'm not sure if the concept of an evergreen exists anymore, right? Like games that we keep selling over and over and over again. So I think right now the board game as a lifestyle hobby is starting to evolve into what used to be called cult of the new, where people just want to try new games and enjoy the discovery process of new games. I think that's becoming closer to the norm than the exception. And I mean, personally, I love that because the discovery process of games to me is the most fun part. And I think we're turning, like, by the way, I don't see anything wrong with that, right? Like the video game industry has been working on this model for years before DLC and all that stuff, right? You play a game, you enjoy it for X number of months, and you put it on your shelf and you enjoy having it in your collection. So I don't see board games being any different from that particular model, except you have this really cool thing on your shelf afterwards that you get to periodically play.
And then so here's a question, because I know you're always working on games and stuff. Do you actually have time to actually play other games that you're not working on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I make a discipline out of it, in fact. Like, yeah, it's true. At the end of a long day, the last thing I want to do is play games sometimes. But
The exhibit hall will be closing in 1 hour.
in 1 hour,
5 o'clock.
that's how you know this is real time. We're in the raw, right?
Start making your final purchases.
All right, you're done.
Your favorite vendor.
I don't know who takes an hour to make a final purchase.
You know what? Yeah, I know. It's weird, right? Talk about analysis paralysis. So, I'm sorry. What was your question?
So do you actually play other games that you're not working on?
So yeah, yes. Actually, my wife and I have enforced a discipline where every Wednesday night we go to the local game store, and it doesn't matter how tired I am, it doesn't matter how much I don't feel like playing. We sit down, we play games with a bunch of other people at game night, and yeah, I don't feel like it up until we get there. But as soon as we sit down and start playing a game, it's like going to the doctor. You're like, it's awesome. It feels really awesome. Like by the time it's over, I'm like, I'm so glad we did this.
So what are some of your favorites? And you don't have to mention anything you worked on because it's like picking children, right? Your favorite child. You can't really pick one out of all of them. So
Sure.
What are some of the favorites that you like playing?
Well, I mean, so I'm a very cult of the new player, right? So I'm always about obsessing with new games. So I really enjoyed, actually this year, I'm like Spiel des Jahres guy. I loved Azul. I went crazy over that. I loved The Mind very much. I played Dinosaur Island by John Gilmore, and usually worker placement games that heavy I don't like, but I really like that one. I got back into Hearthstone and been playing the heck out of that. And I've been going back to Dice Masters and playing, because I haven't been working on it for a little while, right? Mike's running the show now, so I get to play it as a fan, and I gotten back. Playing it as a fan is actually a little bit more fun for me than it's been for the last year or so. I've gotten back to really just enjoying it.
Yeah, so I got to say thank you for Dice Masters, because the group, or most of the group that works on the website, I would have never met them without playing that game. So
Awesome.
like that's a big thanks for putting that together. And then so there's one last thing. I would probably say the biggest fan in our group, his name's Russ. Could you just say hi to Russ?
Hello, Russ.
All right, Eric. Thank you so much. And I think he might die after that. So
Russ, please don't die. Whatever you do, we need you around playing games, enjoying games. Don't do it.
All right, Eric. Thank you so much. If they want to see, the latest and greatest you're working on, they should go to CMON's website, right?
Yeah, CMON.com is our portal for everything. If you want to follow me personally, the only social media I do is Twitter. And I never remember my Twitter handle. If you do Eric Lang, I'm somewhere on there.
Just Google it. It works, right?
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Eric. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Origins 2018.